Welcome to this week's Thought for the Day. One common criticism of Christians and their faith goes like this, and you may have heard it before or even said it yourself. It goes like this: rather than helping people to have better lives, like fighting for social injustice, stand up against poverty and slavery and for human rights, Christians just talk about heaven, telling people, never mind about having a bad life now, just put up with it, and when you die and get to heaven, everything will be good. I must say, I have never heard this preached anywhere in any of the churches I have been. Maybe it was a common theme in the 1800s, but even then, Christians were at the forefront of putting things right in society, improve the situation for the poor, abolish slavery, and so on. What I can see now is actually the opposite. People are very shy and reluctant to talk about what comes after death. Think of funerals, where talking about this would not really be out of place at all. But we don't, except in the most general terms. What we do instead is to look back and celebrate the life of the person who has died. But of course, that life has ended. So why are we so keen to avoid the topic? Is it because in our hearts, even as Christians, we don't actually believe in eternal life? Or is it because we think nobody knows what's going to happen after we die, so it's better to keep quiet and not speculate? Or is it because we are a bit embarrassed by caricature type images of heaven, like sitting on clouds, playing harp, and we don't want people to think that that's what we believe? I don't know. What I do now, from reading my Bible, is that eternal life was a big topic for Jesus and for the first Christians. Jesus talks about it all the time. So do the apostles. Paul says, if our faith is only about this life, we are the most pitiful people. In other words, we are really missing the plot big time. We are not given every detail about what eternal life will be like, but enough to get a pretty good idea of what to expect. So here are a few reasons why I think we should spend some thoughts on it. Number one, if I have no idea about what eternal life is like, then there's nothing to look forward to. Playing harp all day doesn't appeal to me. Likewise, just resting, doing nothing at all, may be nice for a day or two, but not for eternity. We need to get rid of those stupid ideas that the devil has invented to put us off, and replace them with sound biblical knowledge. Maybe I'll do another thought for the day on this. Secondly, I want to find out about how I can obtain eternal life for my own sake, but also to help others to find it. Again, the Bible is very clear on this. It is by believing in Jesus that we get a firm promise of eternal life. Thirdly, I want to be prepared when my last hour comes. I don't want to leave it to the last minute. This is more important than your will or your funeral arrangements, on which you may have spent some thought already. I have seen people who have approached death with a smile on their faces because they knew what to expect and were really looking forward to it. I want to be one of those people. And finally, I want to get the right perspective on my current life. And I believe this is shaped by what happens afterwards. If you think about it, those 80 or 90 years on Earth, if you're lucky, are really small in comparison with a never-ending life afterwards. So we shouldn't really talk about the afterlife. We should rather call this current life the pre-life. Nevertheless, it is important because it does determine our eternity. For example, Jesus advises us to collect treasures in heaven rather than here on earth. He talks about rewards in heaven for things that we do here. What does that mean in practical terms? I think it would be good to find out, don't you? Well, it's starting to rain now, so maybe you and me, we need to go on a quest, find out a bit more about this eternal life thing. I believe it will be worth it. God bless you.